Today on Cooking with Ginger, we're going to learn how to make muscadine jelly. Ginger, what is it you're doing?
So right now we are washing the grapes and we're removing any leaves, stems, grass, anything like that. And then we are separating the muscadines into the reds and the whites.
Nice. Don't have a lot of whites.
Not
Gonna
yet.
make a small batch of this, I think.
And then any stems that are left on, just pull those off.
And we're back. As you can see, we have removed all the stems and leaves and everything.
This is after the first washing, and we've separated them out to red and white. And I was going to show you how to tell the differences in the ripe ones versus the green ones. So this is a good example of a ripe one, and you can see it's kind of squishy. And here's another one. You can see it's kind of squishy and soft. And one that's too ripe is really firm, like a marble. So you don't want the really firm ones because they're not going to be as sweet.
Okay.
Now we're going to go back and we're going to re-rinse all these again just to make sure we get out any debris that's not supposed to be there.
All right. The second rinsing. As you can see, the water is a little bit clearer after the second rinsing, and the grapes look much, much better. So now we will do the white grapes next, and then we'll be ready for the next step in prepping for making muscadine jelly. All right, and we're back with Ginger. She's making muscadine jelly. And what do we have here, Ginger?
What you want to do is you want to measure out about 2 cups of berries, and that equals roughly about 1 pound.
Okay.
And you will need a total of 5 pounds to put into your pot.
All right.
So you want to cover your muscadines with water and put them back on the stove and bring them to a boil. And while you're waiting for your muscadines to come to a boil, you take your jars and you put them in your water bath canner and you bring them to a boil because you want, you don't ever want to put hot liquid into a cold jar. You want to bring your jar up to a higher temperature. And also put your seals and rims in a bowl, in a pan, and bring it to a boil to sterilize those to get them ready.
We're in the next process of the step.
So when your muscadines come to a boil, what you're going to do is take a potato peeler and you're going to mash them to break them out of their the skins, and that's what it's going to look like. And you go ahead and continue to bring this to a boil. Then you reduce the heat and simmer it for 15 minutes, continuing to break and mash it up as it's cooking.
All right.
So after your muscadines boil for 15 minutes, this should have come up to a boil and boiled for 10 minutes to sanitize your jars. So what you're going to want to do is take your mixture and you're going to want to start the straining process. So what I do is I'll put some in here, and then you mash it to get your juice to come out. And you continue to do this with all of your mixture until it's all strained and you have all your seeds and your skins and everything else you don't want in your jelly strained out. But after we finish this, we have one more straining process that I'll come back and show you.
Next step.
So after you finish straining the muscadines, you're left with a good amount. You want to aim for roughly 5 cups. So what we're going to do now is we're going to strain this mixture through a cheesecloth just to remove anything that might be left in there.
And straining it through the cheesecloth gets you just the juice. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to squeeze it.
Oh no.
It's a little hot.
Yeah.
And so what's left is what we're going to...
And what's going in here is what's going to be used to make the jelly with.
Got you. So it's pure juice.
Mm-hmm. No pulp. No.
Yep. So we have extra juice here. And what's in the cheesecloth here, nothing goes to waste. We will use, more than likely, to make fried pies. So fried muscadine pies. That sounds freaking awesome, actually. And then this is what we have left, which we'll be making the jelly from. And it's about, how many cups?
It's almost, this is almost 6 cups right now.
Wow. It's gonna make a lot of jelly. And this is only the first batch.
So you want to take 5 cups of your juice and put it into a stock pot. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring this up to a boil that doesn't stop once it's stirred. It continues to boil while you stir.
Next step.
So when your juice has reached the boiling point and you can stir it and it still boils, it doesn't stop, then you're going to reduce your heat to simmer. And whenever it comes to a simmer, you are going to add 1 box of Sure-Jell to your mixture. You're going to stir thoroughly, and you're going to let it simmer for 1 minute. Next, you're going to add 6 cups of sugar to your mixture.
Wow, that's a lot of sugar.
And you're going to stir until it's completely dissolved and bring it back up to a full rolling boil. And then you're going to boil it on the rolling boil for 1 minute.
That is a ton of sugar.
So while this is boiling, you want to make sure it's not going to boil over. Turn it down a little bit. Stir it.
After it's boiling, we get the jars.
You got to get your jars ready.
Okay. Everything comes out.
You don't want to.
Not burn yourself.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You don't want to burn yourself.
Because those are piping hot.
Dump the water out, and then you want to set them aside.
Okay.
Get them ready for your jelly to go inside.
Okay.
So after your juice is done, I'm going to skim off some of this off of the top, and then we are going to ladle them into the jars.
Okay. So you're getting the rest of the
foam.
Yep. And once you put it in the jars,
You put your sterilized lids on. You have to wipe vinegar around the rim to sterilize the rims of the jars. And I've already brought my seals and rings up to a boil to sterilize those. And what you want to do is you want to add your liquid to your jar, and you want to leave a little bit from at the top. So I usually fill them up to about right there.
nice.
So what you're going to want to do now is, after you filled your jars, you want to take a little bit of vinegar, and you're going to wipe the rim of your jar to sanitize the rim. And then you're going to take one of your seals that's been sanitized in the water. Let me grab this one over here. There's 2 stuck together, I think. No, that's one. And you're going to put that on, and then you're going to hand tighten your ring around it.
Okay.
So after your jars are done, you're going to want to put them back into your water bath canner. And I've put the empty jars back in there just to make space to keep the jars from rattling around too much.
Makes sense.
And then once your jars are in there, you're going to take and lower it down. You have to fill those up and then put them back in there. Like this.
There you go.
And you want to make sure the water is at least an inch, maybe 1.5 inches above your jars.
Okay.
This is what you want to look for whenever you're water bath comes up to a full rolling boil. I'm gonna boil this for 15 minutes. And then when your 15 minutes is up, you turn it off and let it cool down just a little bit so the water's not splashing up on you. And then I'm gonna show you how to take the jars out. And I don't know if you can see this, but this one it hasn't sealed yet. It's still cooling down. This one has, and what will happen is it will actually pull the lids down whenever it cools, and this little indentation will go down in. And you always know if something has broken the seal, sometimes that after you've had it canned for a while, you can test it and push on this, and if you hear it popping, then you know that it has come unsealed and it may not be good. You're going to raise your jars up, and then you're going to take them out and you're going to put them on a towel somewhere where you can leave them sitting for 24 hours to make sure that they seal really well. And also another tip is whenever you're doing this with Muscadine jelly, you will want to use either red or dark towels because it will stain whatever it gets on. And that's what they look like when they come out. You just set them on your towel. That way you can just leave them setting for 24 hours.
All right.